ass, and instead stop going onto Facebook, going onto Twitter, going onto your website, and ridiculing fans for texting during the concert. F off, dude. There, I'm done.
Wow, come up for air, dude. Wow,
it's just
incredible.
It just pisses me off. I hate this guy. I don't care. Well, it bothers me and it angers me that, like I said, I get it. Live in the moment, and that's the one thing that I'll say about the so many people are. I went to Disney World. Okay, you have the recently with the wife and kids. We went there. We saw the Cinderella's castle. At the end of the night, they blow off fireworks. That's cool. Did I take a couple pictures? Of course I did. But you'd be amazed that so many people are standing in front of. Think of this. So many people are standing in front of this huge lit-up castle with Disney cartoons plastered all over their fireworks. This is a once-in-a-lifetime, moment where you just go, holy crap, this is really cool. And instead, people are looking through their phone. It doesn't make any sense. So I get it. Live in the moment. But this guy was, I saw that. I passed some judgment on some people. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I could tell you right now, if I had a public platform, I would sit here and go, well, you're disrespecting Disney World for looking through your phone. Look, that's the experience you want to choose. Go for it. I think it's dumb, but go for it. But I'm not going to ridicule somebody for doing that. And when you have to backtrack and eat crow because you said something and inserted your foot in your mouth because you're a dumbass, well, then you can continue to be a dumbass and continue to write shitty music that people make fun of, like myself. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Very good. All right, so speaking of bands that don't suck, Judas Priest is working on ideas for a new album. They're currently meeting this month, kind of all getting together and kind of formulating ideas and maybe laying down some real basic recordings. But it's something that, it just amazes me. Here they are in their 60s, and they just continue to put out new music. They continue to perform that new music and continue to sell just massive amounts of records and tickets. I don't know about you, Jason, but whenever that comes out, that will be one of my most anticipated releases.
I will be checking it out as well. I actually saw Judas Priest for the first time. Yes, I know I'm late to the show. I saw Judas Priest, the Redeemer of Souls tour with Steel Panther, by the way, who, again, we've reviewed them on the program before as well. And, Judas Priest still does good stuff. Their new stuff is still good. I wouldn't say it's as good as their old. I still, if I'm being honest here, the newer Iron Maiden material I like more so than the newer Judas Priest material, but it's still great stuff. And to your point, Biff, the fact that you're a band who could, like we've talked before on the show, could just show up and you could just do Breaking the Law, and you could just do Electric Eye, and you could just do You Got Another Thing Coming, and you could just continue, do Painkiller, and maybe do a couple other songs year after year after year, and people are going to show up and sing along. You could easily do that, or you can continue to be creative. You can continue to release new material in a day and age in which new material doesn't pay a lot of money, because you truly are a band who loves the music and loves being a band who produces new stuff and creates new stuff. And I applaud that, especially from bands as big as Judas Priest, considering they can just kind of mail it in and people would still show up and give them money.
I think it's very well said. And, I'm a huge fan of theirs too. Now, I will agree with you. I think the Maiden stuff's a little bit better. But gosh, anytime they're going to come out with a CD, we're going to pick it up, listen to it, review it, check it out, see them on tour. They just continue to draw, and I think it's a great thing to see. Now, speaking of new albums, and we've had this conversation before on the show about how difficult it is to make money with recordings, with albums, with Spotify and all that. And we talked a little bit, or at least I did on the last episode, about the ex-Sinner lead singer, being a possible replacement for Brian Johnson, as, at least I thought his voice would fit. Now, that particular band, after I did that piece, I went back just to kind of see what they were up to. And, I found on their website that they were talking about on their most recent release, they were going to release a couple of tracks at a time instead of releasing a traditional album or CD, because it just simply was no longer cost effective to do a CD. And this is what it's coming to, Jason, I think, is where the bands that don't have a huge following, like an Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Guns N' Roses, insert big name here, are kind of forced into a position now where they're financing these recordings with no promise whatsoever of ever seeing that money back. And maybe even having to do, a single here, a single there. And I would hate to see that day. I really would.
No, I would too. I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, I didn't even get to comment on this in the last episode. We talked earlier in the news segment about a replacement for Brian Johnson. The guy from Egg Center is that guy. Oh my God. I made the recommendation that the vocalist from Airborne should take his place. I was wrong. Biv, I give you full credit. Egg Center's lead vocalist, that's the guy, period. That may as well be Brian Johnson there. And, this is a topic we've talked about often on this show, and I think it's a topic we're going to continue to talk about, especially as we have guests on the show. Not every single time, but because it's one thing to be fans and go, yeah, but I like Spotify, and I like this, and I like that. And I do. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be phony and tell you I don't listen to music that way, because I do. I know Biv does too. But what impact does that have on your artists that are just starting out, like the X Centers of the world? We're going to have Nate Loosemore from Lost in Thought here later on in the program.
Well,
what impact does it have on them?
X Center is they've been around. X Center's been putting out music since the late 80s. I mean, this is not a band that is just starting out and seeking a label and distribution and all that.
Right, but they still have a smaller following, unfortunately. That's what we're going at. It's not just new bands. But to your point, bands that just don't have a huge following despite being out for 20 years or out for 2. What do they do at this point?
Right. No, and that's exactly the world we live in. And I think as fans, we're going to have to figure out a way for a happy medium.
I agree. And I think and the artists need to do that too. And a little teaser for you, and Biv doesn't even know this yet. But very soon we're actually going to have Amazon be a sponsor of According to Metal, in which we'll actually have links on the Facebook page and then hopefully on the website that we develop here in the semi-near future, in which if you hear of artists that we're reviewing on the show, if you're hearing a certain song that we play, if you're hearing things that you want to check out that you dig that we give really good reviews of, you can buy it right through the links of Amazon. Not only are you buying the album, so you're supporting the artist, even if you're buying the tracks on Amazon, they're still getting more of a cut than they are on Spotify. And you're also supporting According to Metal so we can continue to do what we do. So that may be a really good way to make sure that people are supporting the bands they know and love and appreciate, but more importantly, the bands that, man, oh man, if they only could have a huge tour around the United States or around the UK or around Europe or whatever, what kind of difference that would make on their band. It couldn't be a night and day difference. And with that not being the case nowadays for a lot of bands and not being able to tour, you heard that on the last episode with Steve Cohn, and even with Kim from Anubis Gate 2 episodes ago. You see X Center, they're releasing a couple songs at a time. Here you go. Hopefully you buy at least a couple of them, because at least this way we'll make some money. If we make a whole CD, who knows what we'll see. All right, so that's going to wrap up metal news. Now, normally we go right into reviews, but first, we here on According to Metal spare no expenses whatsoever to give you all of the information and all the things you want to hear when it comes to metal. It's news, reviews, interviews, all things metal, we handle that. And so we had a on-the-scene correspondent at the Book of Souls tour that Iron Maiden's having right now through North America. We're going to take you to them and give you a preview of what they were thinking going into the show. That correspondent is me. Yeah, we didn't spare much expense at all. In fact, no expense. But I share with you and my buddies' thoughts about what we were thinking and anticipating going into the show that we just saw. Then we're getting into reviews. Check it out. All right, everybody. This is Jason, and we are sitting now in the parking lot. Easy out!
We paid for easy out parking, yet I'm looking at a way in which I don't know how easy out it'll be if they block us in, but I don't think they will. Because they seem like stand-up guys, don't they? So I'm sitting here. I'm here with my buddy Elliot, my brother Nick, and my buddy and his buddy Ross. And we're ready to go see the mighty Iron Maiden here at the Book of Souls tour. We're outside of the United Center, or we can see it from where we are. And pretty cool day so far in Chicago. If you're a metalhead, and I know you are, 'cause you're listening to this right now, check out Kuma's Corner. It's a bar and a restaurant, if you will. We had Trooper Beer, which they have, which not many places have in this area, and of course, really good burgers as well. I had the mac and cheese. I was the only one who didn't get the Iron Maiden burger. No, actually, Ross, you had the Mastodon, right?
I had the Mastodon, yeah.
But Elliot and Nick both had the Iron Maiden burger. It was very good, correct? Scrumptious, they said. So we're sitting out here ready to go. We've seen this. Ross, this would be your second time seeing Maiden?
Second show, yeah.
Second show, and then for us, 5, 6. I don't even know how many times we've seen them.
Like 7.
I've seen them as many times as you, minus 1.
Okay, so I would say 6 or 7. We've lost count after a while. We've never seen them at the UC, though, and this is probably the biggest venue we've seen them here. If they've been here, we haven't been there with them. But
the Allstate Arena?
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Yeah, it's way bigger than Allstate, yeah. Yeah, so there's I don't know if they'll fill that, but it's a pretty big venue. Really excited for a couple songs. First, though, we talked about this on the show before, but, Megadeth, of course, releasing an album and playing one song off of it. We paid tribute to the fact that Iron Maiden doesn't do that, and they're not doing that on this tour as well. There's 5 or 6 tracks, I believe they're playing off of the Book of Souls. Songs I'm looking forward to, and then I'll ask the rest of my mates here in the car, but The Red and the Black, I cannot wait to hear that. That's an absolute song made for a concert. They're doing Children of the Damned, which I've never heard live. They're doing Blood Brothers as part of the encore, which I don't believe I've ever seen live either.
Yes, you have.
Have we?
Yeah, the Final Frontier one.
They did Blood Brothers on that. Okay, well, I still want to see it anyway, so F off. I want to hear it anyway. But a lot of stuff off their new album, which I'm really excited to hear, too. And, of course, Dr. Doctor in the beginning. Oh, wait, they don't do that. But since we're talking UFO, and every time you mention UFO, Eddie Trunk is touching himself somewhere at the thought. But we are sitting out, ready about to go on in here in a little bit. It is cold here in Chicago. We're going to be sitting outside for probably an hour because we got general admission pit tickets, which we're looking forward to seeing. So anyway, gentlemen, I mentioned songs I'm looking forward to. Besides the one I mentioned, anything else that you guys are wanting to hear? Or?
Children of the Damned.
No, I said that.
Blood Brothers all day.
Blood Brothers all day.
Yeah,
Okay,
Blood Brothers, but I'm always partial to the Trooper live. It's just amazing. So
cool.
Wasted Years.
Oh, that's right. They're doing Wasted Years.
Wasted Beers.
Well, there's never wasted beers with us. But anyway, so we're about to go in here in a little bit. I will be back at the end, later on in the broadcast of the podcast that you're hearing now, with kind of my summary and my thoughts, as well as my guys' thoughts on what we thought of the show.
Up the irons.
Up the irons.
Ski ski.
Hi, this is Kim Olsen of Anubis Gate, and you're listening to According to Metal.
And go.
All right, well, that was No Tomorrow. That is a song off the New Metal Church album entitled 11, and fitfully so because it is their 11th studio album. However, it is the first one with Mike Howe since probably 1993 or so on lead vocals. So a lot of Metal Church fans have high expectations of this new CD. So we're going to get into that right now. Jason, what were your thoughts on the CD?
Well, I'm coming into the Metal Church album freely admitting I'm not a huge Metal Church fan. I'm not somebody who thinks they're bad, but I'm not a fanboy either. So I go into this as open-minded as possible, and I will say a couple of things. First of all, it is an album that there's a couple of tracks on there, Reset and No Tomorrow, which we just played for you. Those, to me, sound like something that is released in 2016 and sounds like a song released now. But the rest of the album, to me, has a very early to mid